Good evening, YouTubers. Welcome back in to another edition of Astros Recap. It is Monday, April 9th, 5:27 p.m. So obviously not my usual night. This is the second week in a row where I've waited till Monday. Now the Astros have had off days, obviously today and last Monday, so that allows me to actually jump on a day later. So no harm, no foul, right? But, another week, obviously, in the books for the Astros. Another very subpar week for the Astros, not playing their best baseball right now. Now, dealing with a lot of things. Their lineup right now is not very deep, not very good, to be quite honest with you. A lot of issues we'll get into this week, as the Astros, obviously, with the Dodgers in L.A. there, and they split that series, which is all you could ask for. And then coming home, I mean, the Astros have had an issue with this all year, beating teams that they should beat. The Twins are not a good team. They sold at the deadline. They went in with big expectations this year, but they got off to a horrendously bad start and can never really climb out of their hole. So they ended up selling, Jose Barrios and Nelson Cruz at the deadline. They traded their closer, I believe, Trevor. I could be wrong on this name here. It's like I don't know, something Rogers or Taylor Rogers. That sounds about right, maybe. But yeah, I mean, they sold at the deadline. You should be able to beat the sellers. The Astros were buyers. They addressed the relievers, and we'll talk about some of them here in a little bit. But they, especially at home, you can't. I mean, they went into Minnesota earlier this year. They took 2 of 3. They come home to play them in a 4-game set where you easily should take 3 of 4. The Astros lose 3 of 4. So 2-4 this week. Not a good week at all for a team. Obviously we're shooting for the best record in the AL. We've fallen a little bit back there. Oakland's closed the gap with that AL West lead. We'll talk about a lot of that. And usually when the Astros lose, I can spend 5 minutes dissecting an Astros loss rather than spending 5 minutes dissecting an Astros win, because the losses, there's just more to complain about. So, anyway, we'll get into things here. So it is Monday evening, night, any way you want to look at it. It's late afternoon, early evening, 5:30 p.m. here. So, we'll get into some things here, obviously. Astros record now is at 64, or let me think here. I think it's at 65 and 45. So they actually have 52 games remaining. They have a 2-game lead on Oakland in the AL West. They're actually now 2 games behind the Tampa Bay Rays for the best record in the American League. They are tied with Chicago for the second best record. Obviously, Chicago is a team, I think, that scares me. In previous years, when the Indians were the class of the AL Central, that was a team that would scare me just because of their pitching. And it's really more the same with the White Sox, the way I look at things. So AL Central teams can, when I look at teams on paper, they can scare me a little bit in the playoffs. Obviously, any way you look at it, whether you play the White Sox the first or second round, you're going to have to play them at some point. So, I mean, whether maybe you like your chances better if it's a 7-game series. I don't know, but I mean, you have to play them one way or another. So. That's the one thing I'm looking at when I think postseason. Obviously, with the 2-game lead right now, Oakland probably feels very good about themselves and them having a possibility to win the division. So we have to get things right quickly here. At the deadline we talked about last week, the Astros addressed the issues. I think they went a little overboard, letting go of Miles Straw. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. But they added 4 relievers, four guys that have pitched, and most of them have pitched very well. And we'll talk about that and them and how things have gone. But this is probably the first time I'll actually say this all year. I actually think the bigger problem with the Astros right now is their offense. The lineup is very thin. I mean, Bregman being out now seems to hurt them a little bit more. You let go of Toro, that's irrelevant, to be honest with you. Robel Garcia is just a complete waste of time. So bad that they sent him back to AAA. Yuli Gurriel went on the IL with neck stiffness, so they brought up Taylor Jones for that. Taylor Jones has been back and forth for 2 years now. Chas McCormick is now your everyday center fielder. I don't like that very much. And yeah, you're still, Elimis Diaz, who came back and got off to an incredibly hot start, has cooled off. And you've had Jake Myers. Brantley got banged up yesterday. Had Jake Myers in the outfield. So, up and down the lineup again, you can look at your middle hitters, but if they're not hitting, and by middle hitters, I think of people like, Brantley, when he's healthy, Alvarez, Correa. After that, it's pretty dead silent. And, Correa's cooled off. Correa just can't stay consistent. He started the season terrible. Then he got red hot, and now he's just fallen back into his little hole again. So he did hit a home run yesterday, so it hasn't been as bad as it was, like he was when he started the year. But, again, he's just not doing enough, I feel like. So, yeah, the offense right now isn't doing enough, which is probably the first time I've said that all year. Usually, in our starters have also not been what they had been all year. So it's weird because at the deadline, you're addressing one major issue the Astros have because their offense is relentless. They lead in a lot of categories. Their starting pitching has done just fine. It's been the bullpen has been the big issue. And now you fix the bullpen, and your starters aren't what they were, and your hitters can't hit anymore. So I just can't get right. Can't get all three things to sort of come together at the same time. So, good news is Bregman should be back tomorrow. All reports, and I hate doing this because there's so many these injuries things. When they talk injuries, it just two people can have two completely different reports. Some guy could say he's back due in 2 weeks. Some guy could say he's back tomorrow. I'll tend to trust the guy that's saying he's back tomorrow. So that will be nice to get him back in the lineup. That would shift, Diaz mostly to first base until we get Yuli back. But yeah, Yuli went on the IL, so he'll be out probably all of next week, and then we'll look into the week after possibly getting him back in the middle of that week. So we'll see. Brantley. Got an elbow. He got hit in the face at some play yesterday, so he got taken out precautionary. Hopefully he's back and fine tomorrow. So we'll see how things shake out. But obviously Tuesday, the week got off to a good start. You go into LA and you shut them out. Lance McCullers was tremendous in that game. We scored a run. Brantley had an RBI double, and then Jordan in the 7th inning had a 2-run home run. So it was a very entertaining, a well-pitched game, but the Astros came out on top, and there was nothing. It felt like a little more than just one of 162. Going into LA with all their fans and them booing and them doing everything they could, and we go in there and Lance McCullers shuts them out, and against Walker Buehler, who's their ace of the year, I'd say. So that was nice to get that win. And at that point, if they'd lost the next game, obviously you go in, you get greedy, you want to sweep. But, the goal going into that series was just a split. And they do lose on Wednesday as Max Scherzer. Jake Odorizzi was just absolutely terrible. So Jake Odorizzi, for the first time all year now, concerns me. He really does. His ERA is almost 5 at 4.95. I'll pull this up here on the phone here. But he gives up, 7 runs? He gives up 4 in the first, 1 in the second, 2 more in the third. Only lasts 3 innings. Yeah, gives up 7 runs, 6 of them earned, strikes out 3, walks 2, ERA at 4.95. So Jake Odorizzi. Yeah, dude, he pitches tomorrow, I believe. So, dude, you got a chance to redeem yourself, but that's a few starts in a row where he just can't. Yeah, I remember mentioning it's always been that one inning for Odorizzi that gets him. So he can't put together a solid outing, I feel like, even quality baseball at this point. So Yimi Garcia comes in. Garcia actually had a clean inning, 1, 2, 3, 4th. Montero comes in for 2 good scoreless innings, strikes out 1, walks 1. Brooks Raley came in, wasn't that upset in this point. Well, the Astros weren't leading, so that's a big reason for that. But what did Brooks Raley do? He had a clean inning, gave up a hit, struck out a guy. And then Phil Maton. I need this guy to pronounce his last name because I'm going to struggle with this all year. Phil Maton. That's what Maton. Phil Maton comes in and pitches a scoreless 8th inning, gives up a hit, but doesn't walk or doesn't strike out anybody. But at this point, you saw all your guys except for Kendall Graveman there, and they were all great. I mean, think about it. Odorizzi gave up all 7 runs, and that was all they needed. The Astros did sort of fight back. 1 in the 8th, Tucker had a 2-run shot in the 9th, so they cut it to a 2-run lead or 2-run deficit, but they couldn't get, first 3 innings, they were up 7-1, the Dodgers. That's going to be hard to come back from. Max Scherzer pitched pretty well for the Dodgers in his first debut start with them. 7 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs. Both of them are struck out 10, walked 1, so he gets his 9th win. Sort of the highlight for the Astros that game was Joe Kelly came in and Correa had a home run off him it's a little feud right there. And then Jansen came in. Jansen's been shaky all year. So he allowed that home run to Tucker to cut it to 2 runs, but that was the closest we could get there. So you brush it off, you come home, you got a nice, 6-game homestand here with teams you should beat, but they got outplayed, plain and simple. Thursday, if Fromber starts, obviously the issue we look at with Fromber is the walks. He actually didn't walk anybody, but he had 1 bad inning where he gave up 4 runs, and that sort of decided the game. Astros tried to fight back, but the offense not at full strength. They only scored. So in this 4-game set, the Astros offense scores 3 runs, 4 runs, 4 runs, 5 runs. You're used to the Astros scoring 6 to 7 to 8 runs, at least in one of these, maybe 2 of these 4 games, but they felt like they were playing from every game except for Saturday. Yeah, they were playing from behind, it seemed like, from the get-go. So Fromber not good on Thursday, gives up 4 runs in the 2nd inning, so that put us behind early, and we could never really recover as Castro hit a home run there in the 6th. Jordan had a big 2-run shot in the 9th, but we lose that 5-3. Offense not doing a whole lot there. So that was a bad loss. Friday, maybe a little bit more frustrating, but I actually walked away from this game feeling, not awful. We were up 3-0, or hold on, I get this right. So yeah, we were up 3-0. We scored. I'm trying to look at the box score here, and it went 11 innings. So I was at the game. Went to the game on Thursday. They lost. Went to the game on Friday. They lost. But yeah, they were up. 3-0. So they had a 2-run. Taylor Jones. Yeah, after Thursday's game, after Robel Garcia and how horrendously terrible and just awful baseball player he's been, he gets sent down. Yuli goes on the IL, so you call up Taylor Jones and you call up some no-name Jacob Eason. Could be wrong there. Jake something. No, it's not. I'll get to that in a minute here. Taylor Jones hits his first home run of the year, 2-run shot there, and then McCormick hit a home run there in the 4th. It was 3-0. Greinke's going great. Greinke runs into trouble, 5th, 2 runs there, 1 more than 6. So Greinke did pitch a quality game, 6 innings, 3 runs. Usually offense you expect to do good enough, but it was tied there for a while. You go to extras. Obviously Minnesota scores 1 in the 10th. That was off. Let's see. Obviously these are unearned runs. But yeah, Phil Maton gave up a run there in the 10th. The Astros tied on Jordan Alvarez ground ball single. Then Montero gives up a run in the 11th, and that proved to be the winning run. The offense is so predictable. Like after the 10th inning when Maton gave up the run, I'm sitting there like, we're at a good spot in the order, 2, 3, 4. You'll get your runner at second to start the inning, obviously, in extra innings. I felt good about tying that game. When the Twins scored in the top half of the 11th, I looked at where we were in the lineup, and I was like, yeah, that's not going to work. I just felt that way. I mean, think about this. So, trying to think here. But listen to this lineup here. I kind of wanted to wait till. Let me wait till Sunday to do that. They lose on Friday. Saturday they do fine. I mean, Luis Garcia was great. So he had two very bad starts, and he bounced back here. They're trying to be careful with Luis Garcia. Something I find a little interesting. Obviously, he's pitching more innings than he ever has ever. I mean, even in the minor leagues, he's coming up, so they're being very cautious with him. The way I would actually approach this if I was managing or doing this, let Garcia go. Don't manage his innings. Just let him go, and then if you want to skip him a few times in the rotation, whether it's off days, in September, or you want to get somebody a spot start, whatever it might be, but I wouldn't pitch him unless you plan to pitch him like you pitch any other pitcher. So I don't agree with necessarily the way they're approaching this. I feel like his last two starts before the one on Saturday, he wasn't very good. I don't think he got through 5 innings in either of those starts. But even before that, there's a few starts where he was pitching well. Yeah, there was one start before the All-Star break where they took him out a little early, it seemed like. There was a start after that, I believe, as well. But I wouldn't go into games thinking, all right, well, we'll put his pitch count around 70 or 80, get him out. Like, let him pitch, and then just skip his spot in the rotation a few times. That's the way I would approach it. I don't like, as a starting pitcher, I don't want to go out there feeling like, all right, I got 70 pitches to get through 5 innings to get a win. I don't like that way of managing. So, but it was good overall. It was good to see Garcia bounce back, and he scored 1 in the second, 1 in the fourth, 2 in the eighth. Alvarez had a home run there. There was a 2-run double, I believe, by, let's see, who had the 2-run double? Diaz, I believe. Yeah. To break it open there in the ninth, and then got to get back in this here as I got out. And, yeah, again. Presley came in to shut the door there. Actually, it was good to see him get out there and have a quick inning after, he had struggled a few times. He also pitched in the Friday game, was good there as well. So Presley, I think, got his ERA under 2, I want to say. Let me double check this here as if I'm pulled up. Yeah, 1.96. So the ERA had climbed over 2 because he had, like 4 out of 5 appearances where he allowed runs. So, but he was good. Yeah, Bregman was good. Stanek, that's sort of going to be your 7, 8, and 9 combination. The way they want to use things. It'll probably be Stanek 7th, Graveman 8th, Presley 9th. In a perfect world, that's the way you'd sort of line things up. But Garcia actually got through 6, only 2 hits, 8 strikeouts, no walks. He was great. That was a good bounce-back start for him. And then, Stanek scoreless 7th, Graveman scoreless 8th, and, of course, Presley scoreless 9th. Felt good after that game. Felt like he could, get a split with the win on Sunday. But wasn't the case. McCullers was not good. So it's the thing. Like, you look at the starters, obviously we complain about Valdez with his walks. Garcia, although he did bounce back, had back-to-back pretty awful starts. Not pretty, they were both awful. Odorizzi is just a complete mess. Who else do you look to? Zach Greinke just can't seem to really... I mean, he's okay, but he's just not... His ERA is 3.6 something. I don't know. It's just he goes out there, he's going to give up 2 or 3 runs to start. That's basically a guarantee. And so you look up and down the rotation, you think, all right, well, McCullers just had a great start in L.A. He's probably got the lowest, well, not probably, he had the lowest ERA of any one of our starters. So weird with McCullers, he can't pitch at home. I mean, he's been terrible. He's been fantastic on the road this year. This is something that McCullers usually, he just can't stay consistent. I've come to conclusions on some players here. And, after last year's 60-game season, I tried to sort of, just hard to get a good gauge on pitchers. But McCullers is who he is. He's a guy who can't be consistent. And usually the inconsistency will come to whether he's pitching at home or on the road. Every season leading up to this year, every season, when McCullers come on this team, it was like 15, I want to say, 2015. So 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 6 years. He's fantastic at home, pretty awful on the road. This year, it's the exact opposite. He's tremendous on the road. He's awful at home. So it's just, that's who McCullers is. He can't figure things out when we either go on the road or whether we're at home. So that's not an ace pitcher. That the Astros don't have any aces, obviously. Greinke's not an ace. McCullers isn't an ace. Odorizzi isn't. I mean, just go up and down your 5-6 pitchers you got. None of them are aces. And you're rolling with 5 right now. Obviously, Christian Javier's in the bullpen and Urquidy's out. Urquidy's been out for a while. He won't be back till September. It's what it's looking like. So, yeah, a lot of issues. Sunday's game, thought we had a decent chance, but yeah, let's look at the box score here. So, Maton actually had the bad inning, which really actually put the game out of reach. So Phil Maton, first of our newly acquired 4 relievers that actually has failed, I would say. But yeah, McCullers was not very good as I look at his box score right here. McCullers goes 4 and 2/3, can't get through 5 innings, 8 hits, 4 earned runs, walks 3, strikes out 4, gets the loss. ERA jumps to 3.22. But yeah, McCullers, I guess this year for the 52 games we have remaining, I'm just going to look at him as a road guy, which is weird to say, but he's better on the road this year. So I just have to go with the what's been the case. So and that has been the case. But yeah, Phil Maton came in got the final out of the 5th inning, but they brought him back out. Only able to get 1 out there in the 6th, but allowed the big 3-run home run there to, I want to say it was Jorge Polanco. Let me double check this here. Yeah, Jorge Polanco at the big 3-run shot, which made it 7-3 at that point. And then we scored single runs in the 7th and the 8th, but yeah, just couldn't come back all the way back. So 7-5, we lose that. 66 and 46, the record. I said that earlier. I mean, I said 65 and 45. 66 and 46. You have exactly 50 games left in the season. But 2-game lead. So, but to go more into this game, so Blake Taylor came in. Blake Taylor actually loads the bases, gives up 2 hits, walks. This is what Taylor's done. I'm coming to a conclusion on a lot of these players now that we're deep into the season of what to expect. But Blake Taylor, he can have some fine outings where he goes in there and scoreless, but he's never clean. He never has 1, 2, 3 innings. He always comes in and he'll walk a guy usually. Usually the first guy he faces, he was the lefty, he'll walk him. He'll get a hit. Sometimes he'll get a ground ball double play. But, I mean, would he strike out a batter? Yeah. He gets through the inning, but it was bases loaded, nobody out. So he was very fortunate, but he never makes things easy. That's who Blake Taylor is. Montero comes in. Montero's been good. Comes over, ERA at like 7 or right there at 7. Was DFA'd by Seattle. The Astros wanted to use him here. Been good so far. He gets 5 outs, strikes out 2, walks a guy, and then he gets hurt. Something was wrong. They had the trainer come out to the mound. They took him out, so I have no news on Montero, but most likely he's going to be on the IL, so that hurts. Yimi Garcia comes in following the injury, and he was great. Got 4 outs, struck out 3 batters. Everything was clean, so 3.38 ERA for Yimi Garcia. Rafael Montero drops to 6.39. Blake Taylor 3.54. Phil Maton 4.70. And we said McCullers earlier at 3.22. I look at ERA as the best pitching indicator for me. I know there's a lot of other things you can look at, but ERA is just a clean, nice stat I like to use in evaluating pitchers. So that's what I've been doing for years. That's what I'll continue to do. So yeah, but I wanted to bring up Sunday and talk about the lineup that we ran out there. Think about this. Chas McCormick's hitting lead off. Now, Altuve had the day off. He pinch hit late in the game, but make things clear here. McCormick had been hitting lower part of lineup, 7th, I think, for a lot of the games. Obviously, no Miles Straw in the trade there, so McCormick's getting more starts. I have a big issue with this trade now because I've come to the conclusion. Chas McCormick strikes out at an incredibly high rate, and it's very aggravating to me. So I don't like Chas McCormick as much as some of the people do. I like Miles Straw. Miles Straw hit for a better average, can make more contact. He's faster. The only thing McCormick has over Straw is some power. But the power is too far and in between to outweigh average and speed, which is what Straw had. So I am not a big Chas McCormick guy unless he finds a way. But that dude swings for the fences every time he gets up in the batter's box. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. It really bothers me. The trade, then I think James Click missed on this one. I love the 3 trades he made to get Graveman, Montero, and Garcia, but pulling the trigger with 5 minutes left till that 3 o'clock deadline to trade a starting outfielder who's been doing very well for you, didn't start the season that way, but had gotten a lot better, trading him to bring in a reliever who's gotten here in the mid-4s, and a prospect of a catcher who we have no idea what it'll turn into, but you're buying. I mean, you're looking at the roster right now on the Houston Astros. You're not looking at minor leaguers. So, yeah, I'm not buying into that trade unless something miraculous happens where McCormick turns into some superstar and Maton is getting big outs in big games. I'm not on board with this. But McCormick leads off, and yeah, he strikes out twice in 5 at-bats. He does have a hit, scores a run. Brantley hits second, but he comes out of the game after a hard slide at second, and he got like an elbow to the face. So you have Jake Myers come in for him. Alemnis Diaz is hitting 3rd in your lineup. That's usually never a good sign. Now, I do like Diaz, but as a number 3-hole hitter, no. Alvarez hits cleanup. Correa at 5. Tucker at 6. Really, there's your production. If you can't get your production of Alvarez, Correa, and Tucker, where else are you going to get it? Not in a lot of spots. Taylor Jones hitting 7th. The new guy, some no-name they claimed off waivers from the Oakland A's. Jacob Wilson is his name. Nobody. And then Martin Maldonado, we've talked about him. He's just horrendously bad as a offensive hitting catcher. And I usually don't look to him for offense. But like I've said numerous times, dude, just get me to 200 batting average. Just get me there. He's at 184. And I just never can seem to string together 4 or 5 hits or even 4 to 5 decent games. Now, as a catcher, he's great, Works with our pitchers great. Can throw runners out. He just controls the game. He's a good defensive catcher. But just get me to 200, Lord, please. But Jason Castro ain't much better. He's at 185, so it's like, where do you go to? Now, I feel better with Castro up there. I think he possesses a little bit more power as a hitter than Maldonado, but still, it's a lose-lose situation there. And it's not like Castro doesn't handle our pitchers well. But yeah, if you're asking me, I'd like some more starts from Jason Castro behind the plate than Maldonado, but neither of them would you ever expect to hit anything. But yeah, that lineup, McCormick, Brantley, which quickly turned into Myers, Diaz, Alemnis Diaz, Alvarez, Correa, Tucker, Taylor Jones, Jacob Wilson, Martin Maldonado. It's not good enough. You're used to 1 through 6 or something along those lines, being capable in more than being your big hitters, but really it's just 4, 5, 6 in the lineup. That's it. After that, it's just you 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3. It's just not good enough. But if you can get Bregman back tomorrow, hopefully Brantley, that was just a precautionary type thing. If you can get them 2 back, I think that's going to help a lot. But Gurriel's going to be out for a while, so you'll be seeing it. Hopefully it's Diaz at first, not Taylor Jones. I need Diaz at first, not Taylor Jones. So yeah, but the lineup for the first time all year just looks pretty bad. Pretty bad. And it was like that, since Gurriel went out. I mean, it was like that Thursday. It was like that Friday, Saturday. Like I said, they didn't score a whole lot of runs. So we're in a position where really it's our starting pitching and our offense that can't get the job done. Our bullpen's actually the strong part of our team right now. Weird to say, but that's the way things. The script has flipped basically. We flipped the script on basically how this team is coming together. But yeah, I covered most things. Urquidy's going to be back in September sometime. So this injury that was supposed to be very minor, it's just so hard to get a read on these injuries and when players are supposed to be back. So hopefully Bregman's back tomorrow. Gurriel, if things go as planned, stiff neck, dude. You go on the DL for a stiff neck, IL. That's got to be a pretty severe type of injury. I don't like to denigrate injuries, but a stiff neck, dude, get that massage, get that going, and get your butt back out there. That's how I feel. But yeah, so not a good week. They go 3-3. The prior week, now 2-4. If you can't beat bad teams, you're not going to find. The schedule's not a tough schedule. You play Colorado for 2, then you go out on the road. You play LA for 3, Kansas City for 4. Seattle's fallen a little bit, then for 3. Kansas City again for 3. Texas, Seattle, your schedule through the rest of August is very, very light, and you should do damage against these teams. And the Astros are better on the road than they are at home, obviously. I don't even really think it's that close. But the offense has got to get going. We got to get more stability, more quality starts from our starters. And if we can do that, I think the Astros will be fine. But it's a 2-game lead now, so Oakland's bearing down. They did lose Ramon Laureano to a PED suspension for the rest of the year. So their Starling Marte trade looks even more valuable. But yeah, Laureano got busted for PEDs, so sort of a feud there with Laureano and the Astros. Got a little bit of a history there, but the best record, obviously, Tampa Bay. They made their moves at the deadline, Nelson Cruz being the big one to add some thump to their lineup. I think they added maybe a starter. I'm not sure. Tyler Glasnow has been out for a while. I don't know if he'll even be back this year. But yeah, they don't value starters like most teams. They value, Kevin Cash values his bullpen. But yeah, the Red Sox have fallen on hard times themselves. They look like, teams you expect to fall. San Francisco, they won't though. They're 71-41, have the best record in baseball. I think they have a lead on Tampa Bay of like 3 games. 3-game lead. But in their division, they have like a 4-game lead, I believe. If they win that division, it's San Francisco or it's LA, the Dodgers and the Padres battling out in the wild card round, which would be very entertaining. But the Dodgers, Anyway. So yeah, I'll wrap things up. What am I at? I'm at 33 minutes. That's about right. So cover things on the injury front. Hopefully getting, Brantley, I would expect to be back. I'm going to try to be, Brantley should be back in the lineup. Bregman should be back in the lineup. Gurriel will wait about a week and a half. Other than that, you're pretty set offensively wise, I believe. I'm trying to think of, they'll have to make 2 corresponding moves. One of those will be Jacob Wilson for sure. And then maybe Taylor Jones. Be interesting to see the way that would be my options though. If you're activating 2 guys tomorrow, hold on. But Brantley's not a problem. You'll make 1 move, and that 1 move will be Jacob Wilson. He'll be sent back down. That's an easy decision there. But yeah, Yeah, Odorizzi's going to get a start tomorrow, and then you'll be with Valdez on Wednesday. So you'll have 2 games set. Obviously, off day today, off day Thursday. Then you'll hit the road to play the Angels. Was that right? Yeah, the Angels for 3. So 5 games. 3-2 is not good enough, if you ask me. It's got to be 4-1. 4-1 would eliminate a lot of the bad things. They go 4-1. Yeah, that's not even a prediction. They need to go 4-1. It's that simple. 3-2 is not good enough. It's not terrible. It's passable, but still not good enough. So yeah, 4-1. 4-1. I'll be here next Sunday. Yeah, I'll be here Sunday. Obviously, they have a full 7-game week starting next week. So yeah, yeah. You go 4-1. I'm here Sunday night, and I'm happy about where we're at. So anyway, yeah, things have closed. Oakland's closed the gap, so we got to figure out a way to widen it back. I mean, the last thing you want to do is play in that wild card game. So I think they'll be all right, you know. But yeah, not fun times to talk about lately. The Astros, I believe, in their last 20-something games, they're like 12-12. So they're just sort of, you know, can't get right. I think my whole 100-game hopeful prediction record-wise is basically out the window. So 97 wins is where I'll actually keep a goal at for now. 97 and 65 will make me a happy person. But yeah, I'm going late here, so I'll wrap things up. I will talk to you next Sunday. I will promise you next Sunday I should be here talking to you. Unless something miraculous happens, I can get here early Monday morning, but next Sunday night will be the night. And hopefully we're talking about better things. But yeah, I'll wrap things up there, and we'll talk to you on Sunday.